Welcome to the Trill and BA show. I'm your host, Felicia Ambrose, a new high, aka the Trillest MBA you will ever know. And I'm here to help you survive and thrive in corporate America by giving you the truth and being as real as I can be. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Happy Sunday. Listen, guys, I have a very VIP guest in studio today. Oscar winner, media mogul in the making. Media dude, so he says. But listen, the star has been shining bright for years. It continues to rise. I'm very happy to have our in-studio guest, Lathan Jr., everybody. Hey, Ben.
What's up, guys? Very happy to be here.
Thank you for liking the black ladies.
I do.
I know.
I love the black ladies. Yeah, of course, man.
I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So listen, I appreciate you for coming on the show. Since we've moved production out to LA. It's been interesting. It's just been an interesting. LA has been very interesting.
How so? How's LA been interesting? I take interesting to have a pejorative connotation here.
Well, first of all, everything's double.
Okay.
For no reason though. And supposedly the reason was the weather and the sunshine and the nature and the better food options, better health, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I've been here since October. This is the first week. It's been like, oh, this might be a break. This might get it. This might.
Talk about weather-wise.
Yes.
Do you blame yourself? Because before you got here, it was beautiful. So I see you assigning.
So fucked up.
I see you assigning a lot of blame to the atmosphere here in Los Angeles, but I've actually complained about the sunshine before. I've been like, yo, is a sunny day something that you can actually even appreciate if there are never any clouds? There was,
yes.
At one point, I remember some years ago, I described it as oppressive sunshine. Every day is beautiful. And so
slavery sun.
Like I don't feel that way no more. Now I'm like, let's get back to 35, 40, 50 straight days of sun.
Yeah.
But my point overall is that we was bussing until you came here.
Okay. Sadly, I have had that thought because I have low self-esteem.
Oh, Jesus.
So I have had that thought. I'm like, is this my fault? Yeah. No, it's the devil. I know it's the devil because there were a number of like little things that happened after I got here. But before like the whole moving process, like everything was in flow, everything was easy. And then I got here and discovered that I didn't even have an oven.
No oven.
No oven. The heat didn't work. It was 50 degrees at night. The heat didn't work.
Right.
I'm not even gonna tell you how much we pay for rent here because it's ridiculous. But things weren't working, and I was like, okay, so you must be doing the right thing because it was working good, and then you got here, and it's supposed to scare you off. And so that's when I knew I was in the right place.
So when I first got to Los Angeles, 2006, I lived in a place in Van Nuys. It was sketch. When I say sketch, I mean very sketch. I saw that on Craigslist. It said $500 for one room.
Oh yeah,
you live in a place. It was in an apartment complex. The guy was renting us the room. Me and another guy named Dan, who I just happened to meet, who was renting the other room. He was renting us the rooms, but he wasn't the landlord of the apartment complex. And so he was subletting the room in some sort of way.
He was Airbnb before Airbnb.
Yeah, he was kind of like, probably like Russian Mafia B&B, something like that. So I got in there. All I had was an air mattress and a computer with a broken disk drive. And that was life for a while.
Yeah.
I was just so happy to be here, though. I remember getting there and meeting Dan. Dan ended up being my roommate for some years after that because we moved, became friends, and then we moved and got another place. And it's in the valley, like deep in the valley. It was hot as shit. Mm-hmm. And I remember asking Dan, like, yo, why would I never run the air? He goes, the air doesn't work in this apartment. And I'm like, okay, so should we call the people and have them come fix the air? He goes, we can't.
Right.
because we don't live here. He lives there. I was like, can we call him and ask him to call them and have them fix the air? And he goes, I manage how much you want to be in contact with him. And I'm like, God damn. So my whole thing was I would come home, I would hang out in the apartment for a second. I actually had have cable come hooked up to the apartment so I could watch HBO boxing. And then I would go get in the pool. I would get in the little pool that they had and I would just wade. And I would come back in and let the water of the pool cool me down enough till maybe I could sleep. It was like that for probably about 6 months. And I look back at that now. I look back at the sheer brokenness that I've survived.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm almost impressed with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like the ingenuity was so impressive. It's like you would go to the Chinese food place over there in Burbank and they would give you your food and you'd be like, hey, I can save this. I could eat half of this now and then eat half of it for dinner. And so people will come in, like my friends, and they expect me to like have all of this Los Angeles success. And I'm actually telling them how I'm surviving LA on like $50 or $60 a week. And they're like, this is not what we thought Hollywood was. Mm-hmm. On the buses everywhere, learning the whole city on the bus, boom, 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 because I'm taking the bus everywhere. But then just like one day, one era in life, I just realized I had kind of figured the city out. I figured out where you go, how you go there, who you're supposed to know, where you're supposed to go, the places where you chill, the places where you need to know somebody before you touch down. And I fell in love with Los Angeles. And whereas Baton Rouge is where I come from and it's the city that made me, LA is home. I love it here.
Really?
Love it.
Do you miss Baton Rouge?
So I miss the feeling. So like I was just home a couple of weeks ago, and when you get there, there's this like when I'm at home, right, I know how 4 o'clock smells. Mm-hmm. Not even how it looks. Mm-hmm. I know how it smells. I know how it feels to like have it rain and rain and rain and rain and rain, and then for it to stop raining and people start coming back outside of their houses and all of that stuff. And you did that for years, for a long time. You were in these specific places. You were doing all of this stuff, and then when you leave, your body remembers it. Yeah. So, like, I love Baton Rouge, but more like a brother or a sister. Like, it's a sibling, the city is, and the energy of the city. So when I go back, I see my mom, I see my sister, I see my family, but I also see my city. Right. But I had to leave it. Yeah. Yeah.
Does it feel like home when you go back?
It feels like the womb.
That's interesting.
It feels like the place that created you. Not necessarily the place that's home. Yeah. Because when I come back to Los Angeles, I feel like I'm at home. It's where I sleep the best. When the plane touches down, I'm like, I'm back in LA. Right. So LA is home now.
Let me tell you, just having that, and we're going to get to work stuff, but just having that is a dream of mine.
What?
Because having somewhere I can call home. Because since my mom and my grandma died, my mom and my grandma raised me. And since they've died, I have never felt at home anywhere. And I've never had anywhere to go per se. So like I'll go to my cousin's houses sometimes over the holidays, or really good friends, they'll invite me, but I always feel like a guest. And I know one of my cousins is gonna be very mad at me when she hears this. Because she's like, what you mean? This your house, my house, your house. I get that, and I know you love me, but it's just, it's not the same.
Yeah. So like my parents got divorced 2002, 2003. And after they divorced, me, my mother, my father, and my sister were never all in the same room again. And like home took on like a new connotation because our place used to be a place that people congregated and like came. And when mom and dad broke up, she left and moved in with my grandmother. and and it was just me and him there. And it was just me and him there. Even the house that we had was no longer home.
Right.
Because just like little things that she would notice, things that needed to be taken care of, things that needed to be done better, the house just didn't have a spirit anymore. It was gone. And me and this nigga fucked that place up in record time. Like, I'm turning on the stove and it's pop, pop, pop. And I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh, the stove is popping. I'm like, so we just gonna let that motherfucker pop? We're just gonna let it's a house that we had built. It's like, we're not gonna call. He's like, who should call? He's like maybe call your mom and ask who we should have come. I'm like, Dad, that's not how it works anymore.
Right.
Like, that's over.
Right.
And so, I think part of me making a new home was feeling that I didn't have a home even where I grew up anymore.
Right.
Now it was like everybody's spread out for everything else. My friends got older, people had families, people started moving away. So there was like a part of me that was like, you should go create your own home. And I did.
That's beautiful. And I'm just trying, I think for me, I've been so busy fighting in corporate and trying to figure that out to then get to a certain, I guess, economic place to where I can be like, okay, this is it. Because even when I built a house when I was living in Dallas working at Frito-Lay. And even when I built that house, I knew, I was like, oh no, this isn't, I didn't want to screw up my mom, the little money that my mom was able to leave me. Like she was a teacher's aide. And so her retirement, I get $300 and some a month for the rest of my life. And then I got a $10,000 check.
Oh.
And so I didn't want to screw that up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to buy a house with this.
Yeah.
Best decision, because that house is now worth double what I paid for it. So like, I'm like, this is great. So if all shit fails, I got a safety net. I can sell it.
You can sell the house.
I could sell it, whatever. But then I also still have my childhood home, and I own that property as well. So like, it's like baby generational wealth. Trying, the best. They did the best they could, right? But making a home also means that you've probably done a lot of networking, which is something.
To a degree, yeah.
Do people tell you? Because I've seen it just at the gym. It feels like everybody, whether they are known and celebrity or whether they are just regular folks that live here in LA. I feel like if there was like a mayor of LA, you know how small towns have, like, that's the mayor of the town now. That's the real mayor, but this dude is like the mayor of the town. He know everybody. I feel like that's Van Lathan Jr.
Yeah, there are definitely guys in LA who probably fit that bill a little bit better. But I'll say this, though. For me, like, I'm interested in people's stories, And I'm interested in sort of why people are the way they are. And the people at the gym are so, like, varied.
Yes.
We got a French lady that comes from the French Alps. We got a lady that came out there to be a fireman. We got our trainer, Joel, who was a soccer player. Everybody's story is so interesting that I think that, like, connecting with people for me is just like learning about them. Okay, like, well, where are you from? What do you do? Like, how many brothers and sisters do you have? And I think it's important that when you network or when you do it, that you do it like consciously and you're present. I mean, I'm not trying to get anything from anybody at the gym. As a matter of fact, I don't want to talk business at the gym, and I've told people that several times. You know what I mean? I had my situation where I kind of felt the gym out and figured out like who was doing what and the whole nine. But now it's a Zen place where I'm going in there and I'm trying to get my deadlift stronger.
Yeah.
And that's my focus. I'm not trying to sell you nothing in there, and I don't want to be sold on anything. But I do want to know everyone. And I want everyone to feel seen when they're around me. And that helps me feel seen.
Right.
So, the networking that I do is almost accidental in that like I'm really interested in talking to people and making them smile and like kind of connecting with them.
Right. And just so you know, that should be no different in the workplace. So like pro tip guys. Whether you're in Hollywood, whether you're in LA, whether you're I don't know, anywhere in the world, like actually caring about other human beings or being interested or intrigued or curious, right? That's really that's really how you make real human connections. And that's really how, you don't need. Here's my philosophy. I think we're very similar in a lot of ways. My philosophy is if I feel good energy from you and then I'm interested, like I want to know about you, whatever God has for me, God has for me. So like it doesn't, I don't need to go out and like strategically meet people so that they can place me in rooms or do something for me, or like I don't have to live like that. I know a lot of people may live like that. And that was a thing I was concerned about coming out here, because I'm not on no, like, whatever that stuff is where they say people are LA, oh, they're fake, or they're always asking you, what do you do? What do you do? I don't, are you a good human? Like, you like to eat? Like, I have 3 criteria for friendship. You must love to laugh. You must like to eat. Love to eat, low key, but you gotta at least like to eat. Like, you can't go to Cheesecake Factory and order a salad and a flatbread.
Right.
Nah, you
you
gotta get it in,
right?
Because that's what we're here for. The brown bread, okay?
Right.
The hot brown bread with the butter.
Yeah, the butter.
That's the start, and then we going in on that whole ridiculous ass menu, right? Like. We ain't salad eating chicks. So like, I mean, we gonna have salad, but we gonna have everything else with the salad, not just the salad. So for me, I've just always moved through the world, and then I love to connect people. So I love to introduce other people to each other, thinking like, hey, y'all might get along, or y'all are both working on something. Like even today, I connected this girl who's a PhD at the University of Georgia, and she's working on corporate purpose. That's what her dissertation work is about. But my friend had told me a couple of weeks ago when she came out here to visit me, she's like, I want to be a chief purpose officer. So when my friend that's in the program at UGA was like, hey, one of my colleagues is working on that, I was like, oh, they gotta meet.
Yeah.
So today, they got the email. God bless them. I know greatness is going to come out of that. I love that shit. Because I don't know all what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be some dope shit.
You like to prepare. You like to, my mother says that, my mother relates everything to cooking. Like, because she's a great cook. She relates everything to cooking. And she's just like, people are just ingredients.
Yes.
She's like, they go together, and like when you put people together and it starts tasting good, like their friendship or their love or their bond, it's the same way as it feels when you put a meal together and it starts tasting good. You know the two things go together. It makes you feel like the universe has order.
Yes.
When you see things like pieces fit. You know what's interesting about the LA thing in terms of what people do? There's a reason why I acclimated to that so well. So like, my relationship with my father was a relationship with a man who wanted to be known for the things that he could do. Like my father had his own company. He was a small business owner. But he wanted to be known as a horseman, a hunter, an outdoorsman. That's what he wanted you to see. He wanted you to know that he could shoot, that he could ride, as a father. So when he would talk to people, I would see him almost sort of reflexively giving his lifestyle to them. Like, I like to just go out in the woods, get there 4 days in the morning, sit up on my deer stand. Even if I don't see a deer, I just like to be there. That's where I like to be. I like to be out there with the sun, concentrating, trying to be closer to nature. I like to think about, he used to say, I like to think about what I would be doing and how I would be feeding my family if there was no supermarket, which is a wild thing to think about in fucking 2001.
Right.
But that's what he would do.
Yeah.
So, when I hear someone say, that they are like a model, or that they are an actor, or that they are an accountant or an exec, I legitimately wonder why. I wonder why you are that. You know, but the trainers at the gym, they all have a story about why they became a trainer. One of the guys, one of the French guys, is a triathlete.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's interesting. So, you know, for me, when I introduce someone or I say, hey, this person like works here or does here, and I do that, it's more kind of introducing their story and their identity to someone. And then maybe that gives them something to talk about. Right. And so I do see how it's obnoxious and how it grates on people, because people want to be more than what it is that they do. But I think the vast majority of people are not.
That's fair.
I think that most people spend so much time considering when and how they're going to make their next dollar that it almost makes sense to introduce yourself as your occupation, since capitalism has us all murdered. Yeah. So for me, I think I don't mind it about LA, because at least here, most of the people have some sort of creative motivation. It's people that try to write their way out of their past, act their way out of their past, sing their way out of their past, you know, joke their way out of their past. So all of those things don't really bother me. And also because I don't expect anyone to help me do anything.
That part.
So I'm not, and that sometimes that makes me not the greatest with people. I'll tell you what I mean by that is, like, nobody helped me. Like, there are always people who put me to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think sometimes people confuse putting you to work with like helping you.
Right.
So when people go, oh, this person gave me my first shot, it's very rare that someone gives you your first shot out of altruism.
Right.
They think you can do something well.
Right.
Sometimes it happens where they go, oh, this kid's got some spunk, something about him. I'm gonna give him. But when someone puts you on TV or drafts you to their basketball team or puts you into a situation, it's normally beneficial for them. Right. And what's gotten me further in my career is understanding that most situations between you and someone who you work for, it's actually more akin to a partnership than it is an employee-employer relationship, because you're trying to do something for them, they're trying to do something, they're trying to get something for you. So the better you do what it is that you do, the better the partnership is going to be. And so, like, for me, like, if you tell me that it's a party and Leonardo DiCaprio gonna be there and we're going to the party on Saturday, and then I don't hear from you Friday, and I don't hear from you Saturday, my nigga, I will play Madden and fall asleep.
Right.
And I will be completely okay.
Right.
Because I'm going to where I'm going, whether I come to your party or not, man.
Right.
There's nothing that you can give me that I'm not gonna have.
Right.
And there's nothing that you can take from me that's supposed to be mine.
Yes.
So, like, it's cool. We kick it when we kick it. We don't when we don't.
That's the motto.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, though. I feel like because of how I operate as a human, I don't really run into that. Like, you know, there's things that people tell you. And I've always been very conscious about the stories that people tell me versus let me have my own experience.
Yeah.
Because I've met nothing but kindness since I've gotten here. Like, people have been amazing. I got 2 great people working for me now, helping me, right? Because people have been amazing. So I've yet to run into the LA fakeness or whatever. Like, I haven't seen that yet. And
I mean, there'll be some people that like. Also, you know what, man? Shit is fucking funny to me, dog. It's like I never get mad because it's really funny. You ever? Like, my brain always has these little sparks to where I have a realization in the middle of something happening. Like, I remember when I lost my virginity, there was a moment where I realized that I was actually about to have sex, and it almost didn't happen because I couldn't get out of that moment. I'm like, shit, like people really be fucking, and this is about to happen to me. Like she really, and I was just look, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing. Okay, so yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll be doing this. And so to me, I'll be looking at somebody will be talking to me, and then it'll dawn on me that they full of shit, and I'm not mad. I'm blissfully amused by the moment. I'm like, this nigga lying.
Right.
Oh my god. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all gravy, bro. It's all, and then I'm like, yo, and so I never can really get mad because or disappointed because it's always so interesting to me.
Yeah, because why are they doing that?
Because they're trying to defend themselves. So here's another thing that I understand. Like your brain is always working for you. Mm-hmm. So whenever someone does anything, whenever you have a thought or a feeling, even a panic attack, which I suffered from for a long time, is your brain doing what it thinks it needs to do for you.
Right.
Your brain is saying you have chemicals that are running through your mind, and those chemicals are telling you that you're in danger. Now they're wrong.
Right.
But your brain is still working on your behalf. Mm-hmm. The trick to kind of figuring out where things come from is to understand why your brain would do something that your consciousness didn't ask it to do.
Right.
Like why the reflex is. So when someone is lying, when someone is being deceptive, when someone is being fake, the question isn't whether or not they're a good person. The question is, why do they feel like they have to do that? Like, what do they feel like is inadequate about themselves? Are they too, someone says, we're going to go do something, I'm going to call you. Is that somebody that is just insecure about how to end an interaction?
Right.
Because there'll be people there that be like, yeah, we'll talk, and because they're afraid to be like, all right, well, I got to go. Like, sometimes I'll just look at people and be like, okay. I'll just walk away. You know what I mean? Because it's over.
Right.
But some people get so weird about how to say goodbye to somebody, especially at a party or something, that they'll go, yeah, man, okay, cool, I'm going to call you. And that means that this interaction is over. But it's a lie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, they'll move because of that. And so, in most situations like that, the thing is to try to understand why people do the things that they do. Why people say the things that they say, why they act the way that they act. I remember riding with one of my homeboys, and we get to a spot in New Orleans, and the niggas in there were rich. Because we got to the age where guys started going to the NFL, like in Louisiana and stuff. And I see him start going, and now the women in there aren't good enough for him. Man, these hoes, bro. I'm not feeling none of these hoes, man. These hoes. I'm like, nah, dog, man. Her ass shaking for real, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's literally, what the fuck are you talking about? But he was feeling inadequate.
Right.
Because fucking Rondell Mealy was in there, or whomever was in there.
Right.
And so his defense mechanism was to shame the objects of his desire.
Right.
And so rather than getting to it with them, you man, we could go somewhere else. Or, bruh, I mean, we still us.
Right.
So kind of let's figure out what the deal is. So I think over the course of my life, I am a little bit more gentle with people because there's a part of me that realizes that except for some rare cases, everybody's just trying to do their best.
Yes, that part. And I think the biggest takeaway that you just said that resonated with me was around basically giving people grace. That's what I heard from what you said. It's like, hey, why do you feel the need to do that? Like something must be going on with you. You must be having some type of human experience. And to be able to extend people that type of grace, it's a blessing.
It's grace or rope. Depends on how you look at it. You can either be giving people enough grace or, because I'm not going to take no bullshit, right?
True.
So it's either grace or rope. You very seldom get the best part of a human being within the first couple of times you meet them, right?
Right.
So when I say rope, I mean I'm cool with you, but the moment that you
act a fool.
Yeah, now you've hung yourself.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, you can unhang yourself, but it's hard.
Right.
Because if you're hanging from a rope, it's very difficult to climb back up the rope and get back to where you were.
Right.
And I'm not a vindictive person, but like, it's not like a kumbaya situation. It's really just not that serious.
Right.
Like, people lie. People say they're going to do something and they don't do it. People say they're going to help you and then they don't help you.
Right.
Everybody can abandon you. You're going to have to eat for yourself.
Yeah. My mom, she raised me and she always said, your word is your bond. Mm-hmm. So when I tell somebody I'm going to do something, like, that's a thing for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to call you and I'm going to try to figure out how to make it right. If for some reason I fail and can't do what I said I was going to do when I said I was going to do it. That's always a big thing for me. So I've always had to surround myself with friends and people who are like-minded like that, because first of all, I wanted to have friends and I don't want to cut people off. Because I will cut you off. I will cut you off so fast if I let you in the inner circle, mm-hmm. and then you a couple times say you're going to do something and you don't do it. Mm-hmm. Oh no, you can't be around us.
See, it was different for me. Like, my father was a very responsible man, but he was cavalier in a lot of ways. Mm. So it would be like, I had a lot of stuff I was into. Mm-hmm. So I'd leave, I would have football practice or whatever, but then sometimes right after this, we would go to a place called the Ketchum Fitness Center, and we would play basketball to the end of the night. And I just remember it was always glitches. It was always, hey, Dad, we played 3:30 Friday. Come to the game, I'm going to be there. He doesn't come. Mm-hmm. Right? And sometimes you be hitting your cleats with your back, you're looking around, and then all of a sudden, you see him on his phone, and you're like, oh, shit, now I can relax and hit the ball. Right? Or you'd hear the truck, because he drove a big diesel dually truck, and the truck would be pulling up, and like, there he is right there, and I would stall to get there. Then, a couple of times things happened.
Right.
You get left at practice. You're supposed to be going to the gym to work out or going to do something else or going to Boys State or something like that, and you don't. Mm-hmm. And so I remember there was one particular day to where I was supposed to go somewhere, be somewhere. It was very important for me to be there. Mm-hmm. And there was nobody there to take me. It was maybe like 15. And I had some money. I had some money working with my dad. And so I took my black ass and looked in the phone book and called a cab and had the cab take me to where I was trying to go. And something dawned on me. I get there and I get out and I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. I'm having a fun time. And it cost me nothing but the money that I earned.
Right.
And I realized that I gotta get there.
Right.
It can't be anybody else's fault, no matter if they're my parents or not, that I don't get somewhere that I want to go if I'm able to make that way for myself.
Right.
So, it's people make promises and you hope that they deliver.
Right.
You really do.
Right.
And it is a testament to people's word if they deliver.
Right.
But the most important person that you need to deliver for you is you.
Yes.
And it's like the whole thing. Dudes, I remember having homies and they would complain that girls didn't cook. I'd be like, so nigga, you gonna starve? Go to the store and get some Cheerios, nigga, and pour the milk in the thing and eat.
Right.
Like, what, you gonna complain about the fact that you don't have a slave winch?
Right.
Or you gonna learn how to make a turkey sandwich? It's like, it's too much. Just go do it.
Right.
And unfortunately, before my dad passed away, like, we had that conversation. I was like, you would say stuff, and I realized that I never didn't have anything that I needed, and he was a consummate father, but the little things,
right,
that nigga will forget,
right,
and he'll forget, and I'll be dressed ready to go play ball, and I'll be sitting like this, and he'll come home and he'd be like, why you wearing all that? And I'd be like, had a game, 4:00. Yeah, it's 5:15. Like, I probably missed it. And he's like, oh damn, Daddy, sorry. All right, get your ass up and go back out there and feed the dogs.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the power to make him feel guilty. So what I'm saying is, all of that stuff, my therapist gets on me about this all the time. He's like, man, you have to learn to rely on people. And I would tell him, I gotta get to the airport. I gotta get to the airport.
I'm not asking anybody.
I'm not gonna ask anybody.
Right, I'm the same.
Yeah.
But I'll go pick up anybody from the airport.
Nah, fuck all that.
But I'm right here.
No.
But man, I could live.
I could live right there where the Hyatt is. I've had my time. I've done my time. I'm not going to pick you up. I think it's actually that's something I wouldn't ask somebody to do. I think it's actually insensitive to ask somebody to go into that hellscape and wait there and pick you up, nigga, in the cell phone lot. It's like the crazy shit. No way.
No, I think it's how I show love. I will go pick up my friends from the airport.
2 rules. I'm not picking you up from the airport, and I swore October 17th, 2004, I could call JUNO right now. I'll never help anybody move ever again.
Oh, no, that I'm never helping anybody move.
Nah. 3 niggas moved in 1 week. My back. Okay?
Yeah.
3 people moved in 1 week. I said, I'm not doing this ever again.
No. I held my best friend Krista one time. And I said, first of all, I went to school and the ancestors, they worked hard. I don't have to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing. And in fact, when I move, I hire an organizer to pack my stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
Movers come take it.
Hell yeah.
They take my stuff. Like how I moved here, I flew in the day after they had set up the whole house.
Talk your shit, Felicia.
I don't want to touch anything. No. When I get here, my bed's made, clean linens, everything's put away. You tell me, Erica texts me the Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. That's how that works. Yeah. I don't want to see a box. Mm-hmm. I'm not there. That's how much I hate. When I say I hate
little things. It's too much. I don't dig it. And also, it's like there's more than one way to help. Like people, and this is sometimes a thing between men and women too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't mean to trigger y'all.
This is a trill. You gotta be true. You gotta keep it true.
Ladies just want you to do stuff just so they'll know that you'll do it.
Yeah.
And so, let me give you an example of something.
Yes, come pick me up from the airport. If you're my man, you pick me up.
Let's say we all going somewhere and we getting something to eat. It's the 3 of us. It's the 4 of us. We all going out. And I look at you and I say, look, I'm planning on eating all my food. Whatever you want, you can have, because I'm on that T.I. shit. Whatever you like, man. Whatever you want. As a matter of fact, you can pick at stuff. If you say you just want to taste a piece of the steak, I'll order the whole steak.
For you.
For you. You can eat your food and just pick at the steak. But see, what's here is for me. This is a psychological battle. Because it's not even about the food.
Right.
It's about, I just want to know that I can eat off your plate. And so, this used to be a thing when I was a younger man. It would be like a battle for me. Because I would be like, I'm telling you, just know how hungry you are. Because if you say you're not hungry,
right,
and then you come for my shit, I'm taking it as a diss. You fucking with me. And I had to realize that it's really not about the actual action. It's about how secure somebody wants to feel. And it's still, to be honest, even to this day now, still with Kalika, going someplace. I'm not hungry, baby. Just get some food. Tell me what you want. So, baby, I'm not hungry. I'm like, yes, you are. You're gonna be hungry. You smell it.
Right.
And I want every last fry. I'm 270 pounds. I want all my shit. It's like I'm not hungry. And then like a little mouse, the bag comes.
Just one fry.
And then boom, I give it to it. And it's and so for me, that's something that'll happen. But on other things, steadfast. If you think that love means me coming to pick you up from the airport, cool. I don't love you. If you think that love means me helping you move, cool.
I don't love you. Yeah.
I don't love you.
I mean, if I love you, I would pay for your movers. I will hire labor for you in my stead. What I'm not
We're going
going
down a
to
rabbit
do
hole because
is
what you're
not.
doing is being a rational person. You're about to piss me off. What you're doing is being a rational person because you would think that somebody would look at that and say, hey, that's even better.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
It should be.
Yeah, because it's rational. What you're doing is being a rationally, emotionally mature person.
Mm-hmm.
But like just wanting to see me work on your behalf, that's some different shit, man.
Yeah, no,
Your
it shouldn't be
opinion.
like that. But also, I want you to recognize that that thing that you're talking about. So I have a really good girlfriend I grew up with. She feels the same way you do, and then she has two kids. And when I tell you, I thought she was gonna kill all of them, her husband and her two kids, because she feels exactly like, do not ask me for anything on my plate. This is my plate.
Like a dog.
This is how I want my plate. I'm going to eat everything on this plate. I do not want to share. She hates to share her food. It is her biggest pet peeve. I think she almost divorced her husband over it because I don't care how much you want me to show you I love you by eating off my plate. You're not gonna eat off my plate.
Yeah, it's just something that like just growing up that we just never did.
Yeah.
You know, like we just never did it. Like when my nephews and nieces started coming into the world and they would come over. I remember one time I went to Izzo's Illegal Burrito in Baton Rouge and I got like the chips and the queso and I'm eating them, I'm playing Halo. You know, I'm fully like immature. I'm wearing my Best Buy uniform. I'm like fucking playing Halo. I got the chips and queso. I'm in my bag right now. And my niece, who's now 21, Amar, she's beautiful. She's a little baby at this point. She's like this tall. She comes over and she grabs the chips. She eats them. I'm like, ha ha ha. Look, she's old enough. She wants some chips. Okay, cool. And then she had some more. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then it dawned on me, yo, man, she fucking these chips up. Well, I didn't know she was to that point in life where she could really put a dent in your shit. And I'm like, yo. And I look over and her mother goes, Ian's wife at the time, and her mother goes, don't you tell that baby she can't have no chips. It's your big ass. Let her eat. It was just the way we talked.
I get it.
And so I watch there. I tell Mara this all the time. When she graduated high school, I watch her crease my whole bag of chips, ruin my whole fucking night. That's love.
That is love.
That's love for Uncle Van's baby.
Yes.
Because it wouldn't happen today.
No.
She
No.
grown.
Get her own chips.
Yeah.
Well, man.
What are we talking about?
Whew.
I'm
This is great.
reliving trauma.
No, yes, this is great. Listen, with the Trill BA show, you know, you're not exactly in corporate, but you work for big corporations. So, like, I think for you working at TMZ, being publicly fired, did you not lawyer up?
No.
Never thought about getting a lawyer?
Nah.
Why?
So it was an interesting situation. One thing was that we were already to the end of the contract. Mm-hmm. So I only had 3 or 4 weeks left at TMZ.
Okay.
And I understood, so it didn't really cost me that much money. It didn't cost me any money because they had to pay me out. Right. But I also understood why it was happening. Mm-hmm. And that whatever was going on and had gone on at the office wasn't probably the reason. Like I wasn't going to re-sign the contract. They knew I was gone. And there's absolutely 0% chance that I would have been let go if they thought I was coming back.
Right.
So it kind of was a situation to where I kind of believe that in a way my firing was performative. Now I could be wrong about that. Mm-hmm. But like most other things that have happened to me, it worked for me.
Yes.
It was kind of Page 6 talked about it, right? It was a big thing. Now, let me be honest. I was terrified.
Yeah.
It's very scary. Mm-hmm. Because you don't want to be labeled like an angry black guy who is choking out white coworkers because they're Republicans. Like you don't want to be labeled that. So I was kind of like all over the place by it, and I hit up everybody in my circle. Charlemagne, like bro, what do you think? He was mad. Well, fuck the blah, blah, blah. Like Kimmel. Mm-hmm. Jimmy was like a really good friend to me through it. He's like, really, man, don't worry about it. Like, things will be fine. Bill, everybody that was in my circle at that point, that I knew, my father, all of that stuff. My dad was like, well, you can always come home and like help me run the company. I was like,
I love that.
That's the wrong thing to say, dog. I don't want to come home. But I never thought about lawyering up because I always knew I had another pitch. I had something else that I could do. I had things set up. You know, after the Kanye thing, things started taking off for me. So I was like, just leave. It's over. It's time.
Yeah, no, talk about emotionally mature in that moment with Kanye. Like, I've never seen anybody be that emotionally mature at work. Because essentially, you're at work, but we're seeing you at work on TV, basically. Yeah. And so to have somebody come into your workplace and talk crazy, and that happens, though. That happens to us, but it's just not televised. Yeah. We have people come in and talk to us crazy in corporate all the time. Sometimes it's our damn boss. And I think we can learn a lesson from, your thought process on, like, what were you thinking during that time? Can you remember, like, that, like...
I was just activated. So it wasn't... Also, you have to remember, people talk about kind of staying calm in it, but, like, that is my job. Mm-hmm. So in that situation, that was, like, my 7th, 8th year there. Mm-hmm. So I had battles in the office. We were on a TV show going back and forth. The camera didn't really mean anything to me. The status of the person didn't really mean anything to me. There were celebrities in and out of there all the time. I talked to celebrities all the time because of the nature of the job. So there wasn't really very much that would make me balk at like speaking to him. Right. There wasn't really a lot there. And also in that particular situation, those thoughts were already baked because Ye had been doing what he was doing for a little while at that point. Yeah. So I only had to draw on things that I'd already been thinking to get to him. That didn't mean I expected him to do what he did when he was in the office in terms of what he said, but a lot of the emotions behind me saying all of that stuff were things that I had been thinking. I didn't even know he was coming there. Oh. They didn't tell me until 10 minutes before he got there. So it kind of that's something that had that happen like the first year that I was working there, it wouldn't have gone that way. Right. And that's why one thing that I always tell people is timing is almost the most important thing that exists in your career. Mm-hmm. The reps. Right. People will say, "Man, like, how do I get good at doing a podcast?" You get good at it just by doing it. Like when I would moderate panels at first, or I'd be out there in front of a bunch of people, I would always wonder, like, what could go wrong? Mm-hmm. Like, what happens if my mic gives out? What happens if a guest freaks out? Or what happens? Mm-hmm. And eventually, it all goes wrong. Mm-hmm. Eventually, one of those things happens to you in some way. And once it's all happened, you realize it's not the end of the world. Exactly. Yeah. And so for me, in the Kanye situation, I mean, I'm glad that it resonated with a lot of people, but that's not what we have been doing that for a while there.
Van, can you tell us about, like, you were scared, but you had your network? Because I recently, and I let my audience know last episode, I got let go from my job. Now, I lawyer up, though, because I'm in a different game. Yeah. Like, I won't be able to write a book like you wrote and have a whole chapter dedicated to any old employer that I've had because I always sign papers. Right. There's paperwork, there's lawyers, there's always, because I have this motto in corporate, in the jobs the type of work that I do, usually there's a signing bonus. They pay you to come. And I always tell my listeners and people who work in corporate, if they paid you to come there, they'll also pay you to leave. But there's caveats. There's always an agreement. So, like, they not gonna talk bad about you. You're not gonna talk bad about them. You're not gonna sue them. They not gonna sue you. Like, you come to a term. So, like, all the shenanigans with Page 6 and stuff couldn't happen in my world because we made an agreement. Now, if it does, now that's a whole situation that my lawyer will happily, jump on. but I was just always taught to lawyer up. But I think in this world of, you know, entertainment, it seems like it's even better to have your story to tell.
Yeah. So I mean, look, if things would have been, I don't even want to say that because I don't think that's true. I don't think I ever would have considered doing lawyering up. First of all, I'll say this: it's like I'm leery to, and this happens all the time, even in entertainment, of course, NDAs and things like that. But I'm leery to be party to anything that that takes my opinion away from me or my ability to express myself or talk about something, because that's kind of like what I've cultivated over the years. But you know, different things, it's different. You know,
Yeah.
If you get released from your job in the NBA, you get cut. You can't really lawyer up. They can waive whenever they want.
No.
And so, like, you know, unless it's something really direct. And in this situation, it was time to go.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, you know, you have to make sure that corporations don't fire you for frivolous reasons.
Yeah.
And I feel like if there'd have been more to it,
Yeah.
like if there would have been a character assassination sort of deal,
or a campaign to blackball you.
You know, but even in that, they would never do that. Like once you're out of the office for whatever reason, whether you're fired or whether you leave on your own, you pretty much don't exist there anymore.
Oh.
That's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it's actually not a bad thing at all. It's like it's a good thing. Like you don't exist there anymore. You spend there 9 years or whatever, and you meet all the people, and then you're kind of gone. You know, you don't exist there. Now I do know that the story that was run the next day, because the first story that came out was very favorable to me, and I think the office hit back, but I expected that.
Right.
Because they didn't expect the culture or the community or whatever to be as displeased with my dismissal as what they were. And so I know that came from them. But even that though, like by this point, we moved on. We got meetings set up. You know, we're wondering where we're gonna go. We're figuring out all kinds of things. I always give Will Packer his flowers. Will Packer comes in and he gives me a job on Central Ave, so I don't have really time to I don't have time to dry any tears. I gotta get back to it.
Right. That's how much is that the reps though, right? Having this community of people who keep you working,
right,
or who rely on your talent and know you're talented and trust that you're talented. Like, how much of that was all those years of, you know, the first 6 months on the mattress, and that's reps, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, being on the tour. I can't imagine being a tour guide. You have fun doing it?
Oh man, dog. You know what's crazy is like that was the first part of it. The first part of like being like surrendering, like releasing. I get on the tour bus, people come in, and I look at them, and I make a snap judgment about the crowd. You can't help but do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you always get surprised.
Right.
With how excited people are, with how withdrawn they are, with what they like, with what they don't like, with who they want to see, who they don't want to see. I enjoyed doing the TMZ tour so much because it was me around people, and that interaction was awesome. I learned a lot about people. I got to perform. I got to tell people about the city. I got to be a little star.
Right.
And we had I made memories on the tour that were like really, really awesome. You know what I mean? When it was time to leave it was time to leave it just because, you know.
Right.
33-year-old tour guides, like what? And there are a lot of people doing tours that are much older than that. I'm not trying, but for me, I wanted to keep growing in my career at TMZ. Right. But you know, it's like that was fun. That was part of it.
Right.
And that's another thing to where you're essentially doing crowd work. So people might say anything to you.
Right.
And you have to be snappy. You have to come back because the moment that it looks like you don't have a comeback or you don't have anything to add or you're vamping, or you can't control the situation, the deal between the guy and the crowd is broken, and now they think you're one of them, and now they're wondering why I'm not doing a tour. Like if I can say something to him and he doesn't have something back, well, then I'm better than him. Then I'll take over his bus and I'll talk and I'll do all of this stuff and blah blah blah. So you got to kind of maintain that.
Right. So do you do stand up?
No.
Why not?
It's a different animal. It's a different beast.
But you tell jokes.
I tell jokes, but I tell jokes in long form, meandering, long winded sentences. When you're up there, those guys are different. Those guys and gals are different. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so that's like a specific art.
No, stand up is, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing stand up last August.
Mm.
But I've had to take a pause because I'm trying to, again, my ADHD wants to do everything all at once.
Right.
And then the reality is like, no, bitch, one thing.
Okay, yeah.
Or in the words of Erica, one thing. One thing. I want to ask you about being a voice for the community. Like, is that something you feel like because of your work and what you do that you pick that up and you've carried that, or is that something, because it seems like from reading your book that you take that as a responsibility? Do you own that responsibility, or do you just feel like this is part of the job and I must do it? Or is it your conscious, like your spirit? Like, why have you picked this up?
I was kind of always like that, and it probably comes from a lot of different things. It probably comes from just being around older Black people in the South, and them consistently reminding you of what things were like, and like what you have to be thankful for. You know what I mean? You'd be talking to your grandfather. My grandfather owned Ellis Corner Groceries. I'd go in there and get a chocolate milk, come back out, sit there and talk to him. And we'd be sitting there, white person come through, buy something, we leave, and he'd be like, 15 years ago, this couldn't have happened. 15 years ago, that guy would have come in there and called you a boy, called me a boy, the whole nine, and you just listen to all of these stories. When you're in Maryland, where my father's from, and there's a low-hanging tree, and they'd be like, there's souls on that tree, like people got hung on that tree. And they tell you about the dynamics of the town and the two white families that own all the sugarcane land, and the fact that it came from plantations, and you think, Jesus Christ, like how are these people smiling and dancing and making great food and loving on each other when they've been through so much. And then for me, I was in classes, and a lot of my classmates were white because of a program that I was in. I went to a Black school that had a program in it that like a lot of my classmates were white, and they would say things that I realized were historically and culturally inaccurate. Yeah. And the scary part that I realized was they thought that they were right. And that's very frightening. Yeah. To think that you're right, and you're wrong. Right. In a society where your opinion matters so much more than mine. Yeah. And so it just became a thing to where I don't know if, I'm not even using this as a stat or a virtue or even talking myself up, but if you're in front of me and you come out with some shit and it's off, we're gonna talk about it. Yeah. And if that means that I can't come back again next week, I'm not coming back. Right. If that, we were at a party, and I'll never forget this. It's me, Bill Simmons, the guy who runs. I'm not gonna tell who the guy is. He's a very powerful guy in Hollywood. And we're at this Hollywood party, and we're all talking, and the guy's talking about like the most recognizable sports athlete from New York. He's like, "Do you know who it is?" And I'm like, "No, who it is?" He goes, "The most like recognizable athlete from New York ever." And he goes, "Who it is?" He goes, "Lawrence Taylor." And I'm like, "I love LT, but no." Yeah. And they're hitting me, and they're going, I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Nah, man. If I put Derek Jeter right next to Lawrence Taylor right now, everyone's gonna know Derek Jeter. If I put Alex Rodriguez, if I put Carmelo Anthony, it's like, bro, I could literally name like fucking 5 guys. LT is amazing, right? But the reality is, he plays football. He's got a helmet on. I started going into the whole thing, and everybody's kind of like, yo, man, it's fucking up the vibe. We need this guy. But I'm having a conversation because if you say something, I feel like you could defend it, right? So and just to round it off, it's like white people be thinking that they know shit, yeah, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? And so like it's especially when it comes to things that exist culturally. So it's not even being a voice or like taking on some mantle. It's just about like stop fucking around, right? Let's like actually get to it and talk about it. Because man, love everybody.
But then, do you find that you get more respect?
It just depends, right? Because like, if I've been one that I've been scaring the hoes since like '93. You know what I'm saying?
Scaring the hoes, man.
You know, I could call the dudes right now. Like we're sitting there, like we're at a girl named Keisha's house. Shout out to Keisha, man. We're all sitting around, and we all over there. Boy, we used to think we were so fucking. We just thought we were the men. We over there, everybody's around, and then abortion comes up, and somebody says something. I'm like, nah, hell no, no. I'm like, no way. So you can't do that. You can't restrict what somebody can do. And she's like, you telling me that a 16-year-old girl should be able to have an abortion? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, 1,000%. She's like, I'm a woman. I was like, I don't care. I think that in a situation where somebody gets pregnant with the consent of their parents and blah, 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 I never forget. And she just looked at me. Just like this. And this looked, man, nigga, you gonna keep this up? The weed not even here yet. The Hennessy's on its way. We trying to see what's up tonight. You gonna keep this up? I look at him and I think for a minute I should stop, and I turn right back to her. And like literally 20 minutes later, everybody's like this. And me and her are still going, you know what? Okay, cool. You're a very smart, intelligent guy. I have to go to sleep tonight. Gotta wake up early. You guys can all leave, blah, blah, blah. I never forget. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I've been scaring the hoes since '93, since I first had a voice, you know. So
that means your friends love you.
They love me, but they also know that that's just what if you bring me to a situation, right, it's a chance I'm gonna ruin the vibe.
And you're okay with that now?
Sure, because I'm okay with that. I mean, what ended up happening also was that things changed.
Okay.
Right. So what was considered to be, I guess, attractive or whatever, mm-hmm, at 21 is different when you're like 31. Mm-hmm. And someone who can comport themselves in a specific way and is opinionated and passionate, mm-hmm, it's looked upon differently the older you get. Yeah. Like when you're young, you just want to fit in. When you're older, it's very important to stand out and have a very direct and clean worldview. Mm-hmm. So I think it kind of changed, but at the same time, it's like I was just trying to make my voice heard. Yeah. And so like that's kind of been the central through line throughout my entire life. And it's not always been something that's been like that got me positive attention. That's true. Right.
But you've been able to be successful because of it.
Sure.
Which leads to our conversation about code switch.
Let's do it.
So, you know what, I personally am having a bit of I call it an authenticity crisis.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So, I too am similar in the fact that I can be very opinionated about certain things. Like when I know something, I'm gonna say it, mm-hmm, and I'm gonna talk about it. And like recently, I was in Chicago. I was out to dinner with some of my friends in Chicago, and one of my homegirls, she was working on a merger for the company she works with, and the owner of the other company was a black woman. But the black woman, because she's quote unquote junior, mind you, she's working directly with the CEO, mm-hmm, but because she's junior and not in the C-suite, not the CFO or CEO.
That's what the C-suite means?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this black woman proceeded to treat her like she wasn't nothing. Little did this woman know, though, my friend was the decision maker, was the one working the deal, crunching all the numbers, doing the due diligence for the CEO. Mm-hmm. And so every time they would meet, the CEO would be like, well, I'm going to defer to such and such in the meeting. But basically, it's those movies you've seen where the black woman is a lawyer and the white dude's a paralegal, but they walk in the room and the guy like treats the white dude like he's the lawyer. Mm-hmm. That's basically what happened, right? And I went off, I get triggered. I was like, fuck that bitch and take her company. I don't give a fuck if she black. Take her company give her as little money as possible. Fuck that shit up. Do your thing. Because my friend is smart. So, she knows how to work deals. Like, this is what she does. as a highly trained MBA. And my other friends were like, well, okay. Because I literally was like, fuck that bitch
Wow.
in the restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean,
What happens?
yeah. So I feel you. But I can't do that at work. And I don't do that at work.
Well, I mean, so I don't look as that. We had this conversation before. I think decorum and code switching are two completely different things, right?
They are.
I wouldn't do that at my grandmother's house.
Fair.
But I also am completely myself at my grandmother's house. Now, if my grandmother was somebody that I felt like I had to completely change my personality, and some grandmothers are like that.
True.
To be around her, I would be switching code.
Okay.
I would be, I would be making myself more palatable to the situation.
Right.
That if I'm on the basketball court, there's a vernacular that's spoken there.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm on my podcast, there's a vernacular that's spoken there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like we talked about, all of those things are different tools. Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm on a new basketball team and I'm being less of myself, playing differently mm-hmm. than I would normally play because I want these guys to accept me, taking less shots. Right. I'm setting all of these different screens, which you should set screens and pass the ball. But I'm just saying,
yes, you should pass the ball.
If I'm playing a different game than I normally play mm-hmm. to fit in, then I am switching my player code. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't have any problem with code switching because I don't think it's my place to judge people who do it.
Right.
Because I'm not in a corporate setting where I have to.
Right.
I am essentially a commodity. I've been commodified. Like when somebody wants Van, they want what they're buying, and that is part of what they're buying is he's unfiltered, he's opinionated. It's all that's what they're buying the freedom of me being me because mm-hmm. they feel like that makes their network or their show or their stage panel or whatever better. Mm-hmm. I get that when you have a job that mm-hmm. you're trying to accomplish, mm-hmm. that there's sometimes, and even my job there is to a degree, there's sometimes the massaging of personalities that has to happen. And then secondly, there's also, you also have to make sure that you don't turn people off in a certain way.
Right.
Especially in a corporate setting where the
right.
rules are different. The only thing I would say is this about that, and I get it. To me, if you're code switching and you're acting less black,
yes,
or what you think is less black,
right?
Really, that term doesn't make very much sense. I think the interesting thing is, and it's a conversation to be had. Nobody should be excoriated for it. Right. But I think the interesting thing is to have a conversation about like how long we have to do that.
Right.
And I think that's kind of the thing, right?
Yes.
It's like, it's not necessarily I don't mind dealing in the realities of a current day, but I do think it's important to have a conversation about how you can ever be in the workplace or in society an equal citizen. This goes specifically for women also. Mm-hmm. If you have to portray yourself in a different light right. to make a different group, specifically the ruling class, comfortable.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean you have to do it, right?
Right.
It doesn't mean that you don't have to do all of that other stuff. I'm not saying that, like, yo, go in there tomorrow and say, nigga, Toussaint, Nat Turner, fuck y'all. I'm not saying
right,
that. I'm not telling
right.
anybody to be in a situation where they don't have a job. But I'm saying as a community, we need to think about maybe reconfiguring the code.
Yes, no, and this is the dilemma I found myself. And no, I would never go to work and say, fuck that bitch. But I think what I'm learning is that I have been trying to soften. I've been trying to shrink. I have been trying to make myself palatable for many, many companies. And I thought I was being successful this last time, but clearly, no, I didn't do it right still. Like, it still wasn't good enough. And so it made me realize that maybe I have this wrong. And then the other thing was the CEO of Essence, Caroline Wonga. She had an interview with the CEO of LinkedIn, and she basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said, if you feel the need to change who you are to be where you are, you shouldn't change who you are. You need to change where you are.
Interesting.
And I was just like, I think I've gotten this wrong, because if you listen to my podcast, all you've ever heard me say is, hey, you gotta play the game, gotta look at the chessboard, and you still do. You still gotta look at the chessboard. I think part of the game that I was telling people to play was like, hey, like this, how to win friends and influence people. It's great. It's written by an old white man telling other old white men how to like influence them. Mm-hmm. And so it's really about human behavior. So I really got to like, hey, we can use human behavior. We can be very intentional with our language and how we show up to influence where we are. And yes, it works to a certain extent. But then it's like, for someone like me, and it could just be, you just don't belong. Which really is hurtful after I've been to all this school and I got student loans and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, do I not belong? Like, how is that? And then, okay, if I don't belong in corporate, where the fuck do I belong? I don't know. Except for, maybe this is it, right? Maybe the things that I'm doing now. But I really am having a crisis because I am literally coaching people and telling them, like, show up as your best version of yourself. I have literally coached people on how to wear their hair, put glasses on, put this color lipstick on, based on the personality of the person that they were trying to influence. Mm-hmm. That shit works, though.
I'm sure it does.
That's the crazy thing. Like, it works, but to me, it's not sustainable.
Right. I'm sure it does. So look, it's interesting, right? Because I think there are two things at play. Number one, sometimes we limit ourselves in terms of scope of our personalities. Mm-hmm. Nobody's any one thing.
Right.
So because nobody is any one thing, that means you can be somebody at work and be authentic.
Right.
And you can also be somebody around your friends and be authentic.
Yes.
Okay. So nobody's any one thing. Secondly, it's like, I want to commend you about something. For a person that's accomplished as much as you have, and is as intelligent as you are, it's oftentimes really, really difficult for people to pivot in something that they might be thinking. So the fact that you're still learning and applying things like that and doing an intellectual inventory on yourself it shows why you've been so successful and why things have worked for you that way and why you're so charismatic. So that's really, really, that's something that's sometimes even, like, not even hard, like, it's sometimes hard for me because I put so much work into trying to figure something out. Then new information comes, I'm like, God damn.
Right.
So that's important right there, right? But I would also say that, like, man, it's kind of, it's interesting. Like, people are multifaceted. People have, like, different sides. Like, you're not the same person when you're in the restaurant on the date with somebody than you are when you get back to their apartment, right? Hopefully you've loosened up a little bit, and hopefully everything is consensual. Yeah. So I'm saying it's like, what I would hope that people would do is actually not put so much pressure on themselves. And
that's good advice.
And what I would hope that people would do would be to realize that you can only be the best. You can only try as hard as you can. You can only give your best effort. And bumping your head up against the wall about who's going to appreciate you and to me, it's like it's futile.
Yeah.
It's conversations between you and your therapist. What you do is you go out there, you do your best, and the moment that you think that your worth will not be valued, you have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Every single moment, if you can. Yeah. Like, you start plotting. The moment you realize, oh, these people don't value me, start thinking about where else you could go.
Yes.
I'm not saying go and quit your job the moment.
No.
The moment you go, oh, well, like I hear from people all the time, particularly black women, Kalika, my girl, right? She was working at a place. She invented a system.
Black girl magic.
She invented a system. Like we were thinking about going to have it patented. She invented a whole system. And they act like they didn't give a fuck. I'm like, yo, man, I don't know how much longer we can do this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was very hurtful to her because she cares so much.
Oh,
and
yes.
the ingenuity and the time that it took.
Yeah.
And all of what she put into it.
Right.
But like, they're not fucking with you.
Right.
Not like they should be.
Right.
They're not appreciating you. So we might have to go someplace where we appreciate it. And if it takes a while to think about it or to find someplace, it takes a while to find someplace. You work there as long as you can. But it's just like, I think that sometimes we don't, it's hard for us to value who we are, and we put a little bit more value in who we think they want us to be.
Yeah. And I'm starting to get some ahas these last couple of months that like, Felicia, it don't matter what you try to change yourself or try to do. When somebody values you, they value you and what you bring to the table.
Remember how we met?
Yes, it was.
So we met, right? We met, and through Joel, our trainer, and you said that shout out Joel, and you said that you did a podcast where you're a black lady, you have an MBA where you teach, and what did I say to you?
I think you said that's interesting.
I said,
so
come on my podcast.
Yes, and you said, come on my podcast. And I was like, huh, what?
Do you know why? What you do is valuable to me. And for me, when I see the value in something, I empower it. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
So what you do is valuable to me. And there's all kinds of ways that sometimes people aren't to the point to where they can see the value in something yet. Sometimes there's a book that everyone should read. It's called Predictably Irrational. It's by a behavioral economist named Dan Ariely.
Okay.
And so many of the things in the book that deal in human behavior and deal in why we do the things that we do, so many of them are influenced by the environments that we come from. Just the environment that we're in. Like, there was one that they did to where they put a math problem on the board. And there were like 6 people and like 6 marks. And they had the first 6 people come up and give the wrong answer to the math problem. The people behind them, even though they knew it was wrong,
they still wrote.
They agreed.
Yes.
Because there's this inherent need for human beings to feel like together and a part of something.
Right.
So when we are in these spaces and they're white, those white people feel safe together.
They do.
They feel safe together. They get each other, the little mob mentality, and there's no way to know whether or not they're ever going to feel safe with you.
Right.
So the one thing that you can't do is give them your identity, and your safety.
Right.
You have to hold on to something.
Right.
But we also have to be there for each other.
Yes, and we need to be kinfolk. So I really appreciate you. I remember I first saw you at the gym. My mentee was here for his birthday. So it was like this around the week of December 23rd, because that's his birthday. And so I said, come to the gym with me. This gym is amazing. And blah, blah, blah. And you were on the phone in the garage. And I looked at you and I was like, I feel like I've seen him before. And then I said, is that, and then, because, being in LA, I think everybody's famous. Like, I even thought Erica, I was like, Erica, you on a movie, right? When I met her, she was like, I had this, what, nigga, no.
Best man holiday.
Something. And so he was like, nah, you probably just doing that thing. You think everybody's famous because you're in LA. And then, when Joel was talking about you, and Joel, like, you gotta meet Van. And I was like, who's Van? I don't know who Van is. And so then that day that she introduced us, I went and Googled you, and I was like, that's the TMZ guy that told Kanye off. And then I was like, holy shit, we're going on this podcast. And because I'm from Victoria, Texas. Like,
also, people don't be knowing who I am because I kept it real. I keep it real with my with the Honda Accord Cross Tour.
Listen,
I keep it real, man.
I drive a Honda Accord. I just
nah, man. Like my management been trying to like, hey man, listen. You know, when you show up to a place and you're in a car, like we went to the Peninsula one time, and I'm the type of nigga like I pull up in my shit and I tell you, yo, I give you $200, put my shit in front. I just want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see it. I swear to God, bro. I want to see Maserati, fucking Benz, fucking Bentley truck, and then I want to see the 2010 Honda Accord Crossover. My shit not even washed. I'm like, yeah, we put it right here. And so it just looks so quick. I got all kinds of pictures. I got pictures of my shit in front of the Peninsula. I got pictures of my shit in front of the water. I got pictures of my shit in front of all kinds of places, right? And they'll be like, yo, we need you to, you know, when you show up to a place, it's like, at least get your brakes fixed. Like your car's brakes are squeaking. Like we can hear them, man. It's like, that makes the people from the network think that you're not doing well. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like that type of shit. Because, you know, it's like, niggas, it's so funny. I'll be in traffic, like, shit. Oh, shit, you did it again? God damn, nigga.
They can't count your coins.
Like, you straight? About, nah, I'm doing good, bro. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But it's like, I like little things to kind of fuck with people and like, make sure that I remember that all of this shit, we are on a rock in the middle of space.
Amen.
We made a stardust, and it's really not about where you work or what you're doing. It's about how much peace you have. Yes. Anything that disturbs your peace or interrupts the stillness of your soul is going to take you from this earth sooner than it should be. It took me a long time to realize that. Like, my father died 2021. I know I keep bringing him up, and that's like another way that I cope. My father died 2021, and he died of congestive heart failure. Right? Mm-hmm. And so I remember when he was diagnosed with it, he wasn't that much older than I am now. You're supposed to live like 5 years with it. But he beat the odds. He lived till he was about 66. He lived till he was 66 years old. And he had an exemplary life. Mm-hmm. He was a baseball player and a rodeo cowboy and a hunter and a Lothario and all of these things, but he never really had peace. Mm-hmm. It was always a battle to fight, always something to kill. There was always something in front of him that had to be destroyed. Mm-hmm. And if you don't live a peaceful existence, if you don't find some sort of symbiosis between yourself emotionally and physically, you can end up leaving at 66. Yeah. And so, you know, we want so many things so badly. Yeah. And we want to make our marks. But what we really should want, like in my opinion, mm-hmm. what we really should want, and what's always been denied to us as Black people, is serenity. Is happiness. Yeah. And I can tell people right now, I've made $50,000 a year. Mm-hmm. I've made $200,000 a year. Mm-hmm. I've made $500,000 a year.
I ain't there yet.
I've made $1 million a year. And I can tell you, as stupid as it sounds, it just doesn't make you happy. Yeah. I mean, you have more stuff to take care of, right. And more. It really doesn't. Right. 2020 was the year to where, like after I left Team Z, I made triple the money that I made there, like mm-hmm. right away, just because I was able to do more stuff, right? And I have made more money in 2020, even during the pandemic, right. than I ever made before. Wow. Ever. I remember just looking at this and like looking at the numbers and going, shit. And when I tell you, I can't even describe how unhappy I was. And when I say unhappy, like unhappy to the point to where, like, and it's all in the book, but like I'm unhappy to the point to where I'm like, yo, will I ever enjoy anything ever again?
Yeah.
Like, well, like it's like, you know, sometimes you have days and you're like, oh man, I'm so happy today. Like even today, I had all of this shit to do, but I was happy. And I was just thinking, the air is heavy. I can't sleep. I went a whole month sleeping about 40 minutes a night. Like the air is heavy. I can't sleep. My skin is on fire. I'm walking around downtown. I'm looking at homeless people and I'm crying because like they're sleeping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it just didn't matter. That's all I'm saying. It just didn't matter. None of it mattered. Like, and so it's difficult to like tell people that sometimes, but I see a lot of people just, yo man, if I could just book this thing, if I could just do this, if I could just do that, and then they do it, and then a year from now it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
So just everybody do as well, make as much money, go to Tulum, go to fucking, I don't know when niggas started going to Tulum, but like go to Tulum, do all of that shit. But wake up, look at the sun, take some time for yourself, breathe, feel things, get a pet, hold the dog, try to find somebody to love on. You just don't have a lot of time here.
We don't. Why did you write this book? Because this is a really good book. I listened to it, I've read it. What?
Look at her. Because look, they're so, look, they don't know what happened. Oh, I got them. I love that. I love to keep people on their toes.
What?
Keep them on their toes.
What?
You know, that was a defense mechanism. I just got a little too vulnerable. And so I had to do something, you know what I'm saying? Nah, you got to leave it now. Don't put it back up. Don't put it back up. Now it's like, you got to leave it now. Now it's down there. Fuck that shit.
Make sure you come get a picture.
We're
We're gonna post this. Ben left everything on the floor, guys.
Yep. I wrote the book because I thought that people would be interested in my story.
Okay.
And I realized that they're not.
Why do you say that?
Because, like, that book helped a lot of people, and we did well. But I think I was a little bit premature. I think there are different parts in your career. One part is where people are interested in what you say. And there's another part of your career where people are interested in who you are. And I think for me right now, people are interested in what I say, my takes on things.
That's fair.
As far as who I am, I don't know that at 43, because that came off like a memoir almost. And it was important to do because it was me saying goodbye to one part of myself.
Right.
And embarking on the second half of my life and trying to do that. But I'm glad that I wrote it, but my next book won't be anything like that. It won't be reflections on who I am and my culture and where I come from. It'll be analyzing through a specific lens some of the things I see.
I think my favorite part about the book was getting to listen to a Black man explain growing up as a Black man and the psychology of what happens to you in the oppression that we've been in, but from the Black male voice, from an very intelligent, very well explained. I had never thought about the mental health side of it because we are so conditioned to think that men are supposed to be so strong and stoic. And so I really appreciated that because it made me have more empathy, you know, because I grew up in a house of women who unfortunately didn't have luck in love. Like my dad divorced my mom when I was like 2. My grandma, poor thing, she loved thugs, so.
I'm talking about.
My grandma was a thug.
That's what I'm talking about.
But like, you know, their whole job was you can't get pregnant. Like that was like you can't get. So it was a hate and dick household. Well, it was verbalized.
The dick hating house.
It was a dick hating house, but to me, because when I went to sleep, it was very much a dick loving household. But I didn't know because they didn't want me.
They loved the dick. The whole house loved the dick.
Right, but I mean,
it's wild.
Yeah, but then when I got 30, I was supposed to all of a sudden switch to dick loving, and I mean, she didn't know I was loving dicks already. But the point is,
that's what I'm talking about. Now we in the. This is the shit that this is what I came for. What you gonna say?
The point is, I just, and I know there's good guys out there. I know there are. My friends are married to some of them. But I think as, this culture we have, and I cannot wait for y'all, Rachel, you and Rachel's.
Some of the sexes.
Yes. Because hopefully out of that, we can get some humanization going. Because if you've been taught that women ain't shit, they just trying to take your money, they just want somebody to take care of them, they ain't gonna do nothing, they lazy, they da 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 da. And then on the other side, you've been taught niggas ain't shit, they just want your pussy, like, they just want to fuck you. You ain't no better than a hole in the ground. They can stick their dick in that hole in the ground. They'll stick it in you. Like, if you've been taught all these things, like, how are we supposed to come together when we have all these ideas in our head?
If you're doing all of those things, it seems like we're definitely going to be coming together. But this is what I would say. And okay. So I think there's a misconception. And I think the misconception has to do, so we've invented a society, right? We invented it. So that we could all cooperate.
Yeah.
The whole point, right?
Right.
Somebody planted a seed, they went, hey, that's my tree. And after they said, hey, that's my tree, they were like, okay, well, what are you willing to do to protect the tree? And then they fight over the tree.
Right.
Now it's my land, they fight over the tree. After a while, they're like, do we want to fight? Or do we want to make a deal that says, I won't come on your tree, your land where your tree is, and you won't come on mine. And after that, village, city, country, boom. And then that marriage was there as well. And the societal contract that we have of how we treat one another. Okay, all of these things are things that we made up.
Right.
Okay, so we made up these things. And we know that it's pro-evolutionary to treat each other right.
Right.
I think what's happening now is society is moving faster than our mores and values are.
Yes.
And this is not to say that they wasn't fucking back in the day, because they were.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, your grandmother told you all of this stuff, but when you really start talking about it, when talking to her, she'll tell you about your grandfather and what he was doing and all of that stuff like that. Sometimes people can't handle that. What I'm saying now is that I think it's important to look at people, women and men, and each other in a more holistic way. Women aren't a prize. Men aren't a prize. The prize is the union.
Right.
The union of two people that have dedicated themselves to loving one another. Now, does that mean that I don't look at black women as a prize? I do. I do look at them as something that is amazing and special, and for a long time in my life felt unattainable. But what I'm saying is, nothing is more special than when two people have decided to love on each other and to build something with the only life that they get.
Right.
Okay. Does the moment that those two people do that mean that they're perfect?
No.
Does it mean that they treat each other perfectly?
No.
It means that she brought all her trauma.
Right.
She brought everything that she learned. He brought all his trauma. He brought everything that he learned. When I was 15 years old, my dad told me that if I didn't have sex by the time I was 16, that I probably wasn't a Lathan. And so for me, that moment, which I talk about in the book, was a moment that I thingified women. Women weren't women anymore. Now there was something for me to access my manhood. And for a long time, the fact that, there was a part of my life where I wasn't very good with women, I felt, and all my friends were, I felt less than. And so then there was a point when I figured myself out, that I felt that what I needed to do was go out and have a bunch of experiences to prove to myself that I was who I always thought I was. All those things have nothing to do with the woman that you're with. They have nothing to do with the relationship that you're in.
Right.
They're you working yourself and your vulnerabilities and your trauma out. So I say all that to say that a lot of this shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
Talking about who you split the rent with, or who should pay for something, or you guys might as well take a 22 and stick it to your head, pull the trigger, and let the bullet rattle around until you're dead. Because it's like, to me, I'm looking at things that are so past what you're really trying to go for. Mm-hmm. If it makes you smile, I'll buy it for you. If it's shining, makes you happy, I'll polish it for you. If you are going on a date with a woman and your job is not to entertain her, then don't take her.
Right.
If just don't take her. Then don't take her, because if you want to pay $300 or $250 and get some ass, then you can do that.
Yeah.
And there's an app for that.
Right.
Like, be authentic with what it is that you want. And also, like, for women at the same time, understand that a lot of the things, a lot of the security and a lot of the things that they're taught to sometimes want from men, a lot of those things are really secondary to who those guys are. Like, a lot of this stuff sometimes is not as important as who these people are. Like, you can really, like, find so much value in somebody if you're open and willing to have the conversation with them.
Right.
Now, I think that men have a responsibility. It's just the way I was brought up.
Right.
You know, my dad was like, yo, man, you know, when the bill comes, don't even look at the bill. If you look at the bill, like, you can't pay. And I was like, all right, so then, you know, what if I got cash? Little nigga, don't fucking, like, just don't look at the bill, you know? And so for me, I think that I am old-fashioned in a certain way.
Right.
But we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit. Like, loving somebody or being with someone doesn't mean that they're not going to hurt you.
Right.
Your girl is going to hurt you. The shit hurts sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you don't want to admit that it hurts.
Right.
Sometimes it's like, hey, to say something and you'd be like, God damn, like, or little, because you're a man, little shit hurts. Like, you watching Magic Mike on TV with her, because, you know, she's watching it, so you'll watch it with her. And all of a sudden she, I'm not that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, you like that shit? She's a good dancer. He's a good dancer. Channing Tatum's like, you know, and you know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is, like,
that hurt your feelings?
It doesn't hurt my feelings. What it makes me think is like, men, we're so competitive. And most of the ways that I'm competitive with like other men, that there's a scoreboard. So, like, meaning that, like, if we're competitive about success, well, I know how much money I make.
Right.
If we're competitive about basketball, well, I score more points than you. Most of the things have a scoreboard.
Right.
What doesn't have a scoreboard is love and attraction.
It doesn't, yeah.
Like, it doesn't have a scoreboard.
Yeah.
So, like, the way a guy talks or the way he acts or whatever, all of those things are threatening because you don't know why she feels that way. Yeah. She just might like a nigga. I've been so floored by some of my homegirls that have been like, yo, I met this guy, then you meet him, I'd be like, yo, man, this nigga, this is a computer nigga. And she's like, yeah, but you don't understand. He starts talking about coding. He knows how to do it so much. He gets behind the computer, he turns his fucking hat around, and he starts hacking. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so wet. I'm like, what? Like, well, like, are you serious?
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you, like, she's like, he's just so in control, and you wouldn't understand it. I'm like, I don't. And so men are, like, threatened like any other thing by what they don't understand, they can't control. I just think, you know, I'm babbling, but I just think that so much of this stuff, especially with, you know, the Twitter sphere and all that, if I want to get engagement on Twitter right now, all I have to do is tweet, ladies, what would you do if you went on a first date with a guy and he paid with a gift card?
Really?
I've asked that question once a year for the last 7 years.
And people get hyped.
Oh my God. It's like, oh shit. Well, fuck. All that matters is that that nigga can't pay with no gift card. That must mean he broke. He probably got that from his boss. It is such a thing. I've asked that question once a year on Twitter for like the last 7 years. Let me ask you a question. Would you guys have a problem with a guy paying for a first date with a gift card? No?
Yeah.
No? You wouldn't?
No.
A lot of women are like, that's cheap.
We don't fuck with them women.
So when I'm
Did you feed me?
So
did I have to pay?
So what I'm saying is, that's like such an arbitrary thing.
Right.
But the feelings are so strong. Because I don't know.
People are
We don't
confused.
trust each other anymore. We don't know who has our best intentions at heart. It's a whole deal. I just hope that everybody's doing what makes them happy.
Yes.
Just do what makes you happy, and you know, if the computer nigga makes you happy, she married him too. They're married.
That's amazing, and she's happy.
6 kids.
6. Ooh.
6.
Baby fucking.
6 kids. I never thought it would work.
That's that Revenge of the Nerds type of.
He would never come out with us either. We get there, we see him, he'd be sitting down, burning us all CDs and doing technical shit. Like, he knew how to burn CDs before everybody knew how to do it. He cleaned your computer out. I'd just be talking to him, I'd be like, how you doing, man? I'm good, I'm working right now. It's like, all right, cool. You know, she really dig you. It's like, yeah, man. Like, this girl was and is beautiful. They're gonna know I'm talking about them. And I just never understood. The last nigga she was ever fucking with. He wasn't social, he wasn't anything. He was just dedicated, passionate, and he cared about her. Mm-hmm. He was like a real man. Yeah. She fell in love. So when I see stuff like that, like it's like I just hope that we're giving each other space. I know we have boxes we have to check off. I just hope we're giving each other space to be people.
Yeah, no, I have hope because I have seen so many unattractive women with like drop dead gorgeous men and vice versa. I'm like, yes, it's all about how you make them feel.
Yeah, if you can get through to it, you know, it's like, you know, like, and sometimes and there was a point with me to where my opinion of women changed a little bit because, you know, I was a much bigger guy and then I got in really great shape. I tell the story in the book, like I had like a Yahoo Personals account. That's how long ago it was. Remember, I put a picture of me up on the Yahoo Personals account and I wasn't getting any hits. It was like whatever. And then I lost a bunch of weight and I still have this picture because I'm looking crazy, handsome in this picture. Like, yeah, I'm that nigga. And after I lost weight and did all this stuff, I put the picture back up there. Because I really looked at women as being better than men. And the response was different. And I was like, damn, they shallow just like me.
Yeah, very much so. But because human. I think we have more in common than not. But although, I will say, I think there's levels to it. For women, if you have money, a lot of women will overlook a lot of things. They'll overlook looks. They'll overlook cheating. Mm-hmm. They'll overlook a lot of things. If you make it to where I don't have to go to this job and deal with these white folks, I will give you the big piece of chicken and I will turn my side eye and I won't be concerned with what you do outside. Just don't disrespect me. Like, don't put it in my face. Don't get caught. But if you take care of me, then, and a lot of women are willing to compromise on it. Some women, I hope a lot of women aren't, but I feel like, you know, people always talk about, you know, your grandma day. Like, I'll never forget my grandma. I had called her. This is when I was in business school. It was 2009. I'll never forget this. It was her birthday. I called her for her birthday. So it was March 14th, 2009. And we had this conversation because my homegirl was dealing with some dude. He was cheating, whatever. And I said, Granny, did your husband cheat on you? And she said, oh, yeah, all the time. And I said,
God damn, all the time.
And I said, well, why'd you stay? And she said, because he took care of me. And I said, well, did you cheat? And she said, shit, yeah, I had to. What was I supposed to do?
Damn. Duggan. It sounded like to me it was functional. Look,
yeah.
this, so, you know, and this is the last thing I'll say about, like, this, is that there is sort of a misconception about women with men with money sometimes. I'll tell you what it is. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's two types of ladies. Mm-hmm. There's a lady that is with a man just because he has money. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lady who's attracted to men with money. Mm-hmm. Those are two different things. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. When I say attracted, I mean you actually are attracted to a man with money. Because men and women have like different sort of socialization.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is women are, of course, physically attracted to guys, but like there are a lot of women who are actually attracted to Jay-Z because of who and what Jay-Z actually is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I remember when Nick Saban was coaching LSU, there were girls that we were around that were like they wanted to have sex with Nick Saban. And I'd be like, you want to fuck the coach of the football team? Like, he's like a 53-year-old white guy and whatever. And he's not bad looking, but wasn't good. They're attracted for the same reason why people want to fuck Bill Clinton, like to where like all that they're attracted to power. And when I say attracted to, I mean they're really attracted to it.
Yeah, it makes them hot.
Like they're into it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes like you know if you're in a car and you mash on the gas and the car is going fast, like they like that shit. Mm-hmm. Now some women are holding their nose and closing their eyes when they're with these guys that pay for these trips. That's different.
Yeah, that is different.
But if we've set up a society where men are supposed to provide security, it's an attractive trait. It is. So some people aren't gold diggers; they're gold miners.
Yeah,
so different.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing, it's different. So you know, wanting to be a successful man, wanting to look like you're a successful man, even if you're not. Is sometimes to attract women who, like they actually like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That they actually they did that in a real way, and because we're so competitive, men sometimes take our competition out on women. So we want women to be better than what we are. So we're competing. So we want a woman to say, hey, like. You're in competition with this guy, but there's something special about you. Kind of like what I was telling all my friends. So, and if they don't do that, then we go, oh, you just a gold digger or whatever. We're looking for women to validate us in our competition with other men. And it's kind of like what I was talking about like before. It's like it's really not even about the ladies sometimes. Sometimes what it's about is you not feeling less than somebody else because he can have something that you can't have. Like he can do something that like you can't do. Right. And you know, Instagram and seeing all of this stuff is fucking up a lot of people's perception of what they're supposed to be doing. Because it's like if you can't go to the club and buy a bunch of bottles and have a bunch of people, then maybe you're like someone less than somebody. Yeah. And the thing with me is like, even when I wasn't, I always felt like, I don't know, man. Like, you guys can look at me right now and see I'm not doing anything. I look at myself and I be looking good to me. I be like, yo, bro, you got a nice smile, man. Somebody gonna suck it. You know what I mean? It might not be everybody, but I'm not gonna go unsucked. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? It's not. I might not have like a line of 50 to 100 people, but somebody's gonna take the job. But yeah, so you know. So I always knew that there would be someone. Yeah. So I have that much confidence that I wouldn't remain unsucked for 8 years.
Unfortunately, I don't think women have that kind of confidence. We need that. Men always have more confidence than women, though. Especially in the workplace.
Well, that's because we take it from y'all purposely. It's facts. I mean, not I don't.
Right.
But like, it's done to make you feel like you need a man. Like almost everything starts to become about there's a way that society has moved forward to like I see women at 31, 32. Some of this is biological, right? Because like your body is made to make a baby and your body wants to make a baby, you want a nest. But then there's another part of that that's like kind of preyed on that I see vibrant together 31, 32-year-old women. They're wondering when some guy's gonna come along. And I'll be like, yo, do you enjoy your life? Yeah. Because if I was constantly judging myself based upon whether or not somebody would one day want to spend their life with me, it would be really weird. Like the other things I judge myself on, even the shallow superficial things, is how much I can accomplish, like how much I can do, like what I can get to, like how I can push myself and stuff like that. But you know, when you guys are little bitty girls, You start telling you that one day some guy's gonna come along and it's gonna make your life make sense. It's like one day somebody's gonna kiss you without your consent when you're sleeping and break a spell, or it's gonna put a shoe on you,
right?
And everything's gonna turn into, and you know, sometimes your moms do it. Sometimes your mom's go, how are you ever gonna get a man and stuff like that? How are you gonna ever do this? How are you gonna ever do that? So the whole time, society is telling us that you need us, and I'm not saying that men don't need women and women don't need men.
Right.
Far from it.
Right.
What I'm saying is that like. It's not that women need men or men need women. It's that they need each other.
Yes. Interdependent.
Like, yeah, they need each other.
Yes.
Each other is how you make a family. And men need men and women need women. And like, so it's they need each other.
Yes.
So like spending a whole life hoping that somebody chooses you.
Yeah.
It's like going up for the NBA draft like every single month or week of your life.
Yeah. And yeah, you not getting drafted.
I mean, some people. I mean, it's like
some people do.
What I'm saying is like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to look at this any other way. But sometimes and another thing is this, especially now, men know that. Men know. We know like that. That's the type of pressure. Like some guys change up the way they approach women based upon how old the girl is.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like, just live your life, and hopefully, in a perfect world, somebody comes along, and you guys get together. And by the way, even if they do come along, maybe it's good 5 years, maybe it's good 6.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good 10. Maybe it's good 15. Maybe it's good 20.
Maybe it's a good lifetime.
Maybe it's a good lifetime. But what I don't want, talk to my mom one time, and my mom goes, you know, I have dreams and daydreams about what my life would have been like if I never had you and your sister. So she tells me this. She tells me this story about her going to Paris and Japan, and Australia, and her dancing with all of these people. She was a dancer and doing all of this stuff. And at first, my first instinct was to be like her, right? Because I'm her little boy, and she always told me how important it was for her to raise a good man because how much power men have. And then I decided to do something I've never done with my mom before, like pour into her, not her as my mother, but her as Crystal,
right? And
let her get her shit off. Not her as the woman that, oh, I love you because you're her as the person that existed before I was around.
Right.
And at the end, she always comes back to, but you know what? I look at you and it was all worth it.
Yeah.
I just hope that there's a generation of women that are going to Paris, that are going to Japan, that are going to Tulum, twerking on the slave castle in Ghana.
Not the slave castle.
That's what they was doing. I seen the women on Instagram. Have your fun and live your life. If it happens, it happens. If not, use the rose or something.
What you know? No, don't answer that.
It's on Instagram. It's on Instagram. I don't know. They got all of this stuff is on Instagram. Like, I don't know why it's on. I see people on Instagram like, here, buy this and, whatever. Just, it's on Instagram. I see it. It's on Instagram. There's one guy that I follow and his brother's a great brother. He's like a Instagram preacher. And he'd be like, put the porn down now. And for women, when he says, women put the thing down, it's a rose emoji. He said, put the rose. I'm like, the rose must be popping. Shout out to the rose.
I mean, the rose, it does its thing.
Wow, Jesus Christ, Felicia. That's where we're going.
Here's the thing. Listen, I ain't got no man. Because you mentioned porn addiction. Mm-hmm. Do you really feel like you had a porn addiction?
No, I was no feeling like it.
Like you had a porn addiction?
Yeah.
How did you get work done?
What do you mean, how did you get work done?
Like, how did you?
How did I get off the porn?
Yeah, but like
Starbucks.
Really?
If I was at home and I was trying to write, it wouldn't happen.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen. Because I'm writing, I'm like, this happened at this car at this hotel. And I'm thinking, oh, hotel. They were at a hotel and Freak Hoes and Flow Volume 5. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Or I would write like, oh, this person had an obsession with this. I'm like, obsession? I wonder if she has any new scenes. Boom. And before you know it, you're just sitting there. It's 3 hours later. You got 35 tabs up. And you just lose the whole time. So there's a book about a screenwriting book written by a guy named Thomas Lennon, who says, like, for all of you guys, like, there's a part of it that says either put Net Nanny on your writing computer or go to a public place and write. And that's what I would do. But I really had to get over that. Like, when I say I had to get over it, I mean, like when I was a lonelier guy, right? Mm-hmm. When once again, something happens in my life and I adapt.
Right.
Like, I adapt. Like, it's like, once again, it's like, it's not going to happen. Okay, they're not feeling me. All right, well, I'm going to do whatever. And so I was watching a ton of porn. And then even after, like, I was in a relationship or I had other women, I would still watch a ton of porn. And then it just comes to a point to where you realize that when you realize that you've lost, that, like, you're looking for a dopamine high, mm-hmm. and that you've lost sort of the, not necessarily control, but it's not something that you are now. Like, I wake up and I go play basketball or I go to the gym. And it's something I look forward to every day because it's part of my day.
I wish I could get there.
It's like not something I feel like, okay, I got 25 minutes, let me look at support. Or you'll pay for it and you feel like you have to use this. It was just becoming something that was taking away too much time.
Right.
And so I went through the steps of not being a porn addict anymore. And also it fucks up your perception of sex.
Yeah. I'm a very late bloomer. I saw porn like during college and I was like, that's weird. Like porn doesn't interest me. Like ever.
Well, I'm not gonna say it doesn't interest me. What I'm gonna say is that, like, I got out of the life. Because I was on message boards, I was doing the whole thing. I'm very open about this. Like, it's like I was part,
Erica knows about this.
Like, another person in the life. Because we'll be sitting down and somebody will be like, yeah, man, whatever. A name will come up, Sending Love, Diana Defoe, something like that. And, or even, Skin Diamond. And somebody will get it, and then I'll look at them and be like, you're in the life, you're in the life. You're in the life? Used to be in the life. So there you go. So what I'm saying is, like, it was just another thing that you grow older, you whatever works for you. So I'm not saying I never watch porn. I definitely don't have whole designated porn days like I used to.
Oh, wow. There was days. Wow.
6-7 hours.
Oh, okay. Got it. Check.
Yeah. So but like, once again, something doesn't serve you.
Yeah. You gotta let it go.
Gotta let it go.
That's why I wasn't mad when you didn't bring the donuts.
The donuts today?
Yeah, I wasn't mad about it.
Shout out to SK's Donuts over a third in La Brea. I was too busy to stop and get the donuts. Donuts will come to this place though. I will have some donuts for you ladies. And when I send the donuts over here, it's gonna be mad donuts too.
Oh God,
man. I'm gonna fuck y'all up. I'm gonna have that whole table with donuts.
Man.
Y'all gonna be giving out stale donuts to niggas that's gonna come to the podcast. Y'all gonna have like a Marion on here. Y'all be
Marion.
Y'all have
come on, Marion. Come
Marion, come to the podcast.
Come tell us how you treat your
Marion. Y'all from LA?
Yeah.
Y'all from here?
California, yeah.
Okay, so what part are you from?
Well, I was born in LA but raised mostly in Atlanta, Riverside.
So I like to ask that question because, like, a lot of times people that are from here in LA, they have mad stories about people who went on to be famous.
Ah.
And it's like, I used to hang out with fucking Chris Stokes and the TUG gang and B2K, or, you know what I mean? I was over on Slauson and Janae Aiko used to come over into the store and stuff. So I was just wondering who y'all knew that could come on the podcast. You know famous people?
No, I'm not from LA.
Where you from?
The Atlanta.
IE? Mm-hmm. Like where? Like what part?
Like Diamond Bar, Pomona, Chino.
Damn.
What's that?
It's one of those places that you like drive through there and you be like, who lives here? You know, it's not whack.
Right.
It's not. I'm not saying it's whack. I'm just saying
it's just affordable. That's the
I'm just like it's not. The IE is like it's not like it's whack, but like sometimes it's like it's a whole other.
Why are you defending it?
Because it's a lot of great people that live out there, but it's a whole other culture. They got mad gangs out there too. Shout out to the gangs.
Man, I don't even understand the whole gang thing. Cause my favorite color is red, and then I'd be told
you live in the right place.
Inglewood?
Yeah.
Oh.
The families. The big, huge blood set.
I have no idea.
You can get banged on it when they press you. Don't call me.
I don't want any.
You need to respect. You need to respect where you at. When they press you, don't call me up.
I don't know them. Who's them? Who
They're
are
probably
you?
around.
I don't
Definitely
know
niggas on here probably like controlling the block, thugging the block.
Oh no, there's cops everywhere. Let me tell you, this place must have changed from all the rap songs in the 90s that I knew.
Stadium.
Oh yeah. So there was a white dude jogging a little bit after midnight across the 405 off of Manchester.
Oh, that nigga, G tripping though.
No, he was like it was because when you saw him, it was one of those things like he was like, I can't sleep. I'm gonna go for a run. People walking their dogs, white ladies jogging, Starbucks.
It was always been good to me, man.
I love it. I actually do enjoy the neighborhood now that I'm, here a little bit more and not flying back and forth so much. Like the festivals and the things that are going on Market Street.
Coffee?
Yeah, I've been to Hilltop Coffee a couple of times. There's a vegan spot off Market Street right before you get to Hilltop. It's really, really good.
Vegan chitlins?
No, not chitlins, but they have vegan chili.
Oh, that's dope.
I can't do chitlins.
You never eat chitlins before?
Oh, I've eaten raccoon. I've eaten squirrel.
Raccoon, squirrel.
I've eaten snake.
Squirrel. Snake I've never fucked with.
I was little. Like they hand you the plate, you eat it. You know what my favorite thing is though?
What?
Cowboy stew, and I didn't learn how to make it.
What the fuck is cowboy stew?
It's a stew with the heart, kidney, and and it's like organ meats. It's so delicious. It's so good. Over rice, oh my god.
So you eat the heart of the animal?
It's the cow.
So you eat the heart of the cow?
Yeah, because I'm from Texas.
We
don't care about animals like that. Animal is food. There's no PETA. We use animals for food. Like,
I mean, I eat all that. I just, I'm not gonna eat more for the heart of the animal, but that's straight.
It's so good. It's delicious.
You're like, okay, cool. I'm not hating.
Actually, there's a on Netflix, High on the Hog.
Seen it.
So when they do the Texas episode with the Cowboys, they make cowboy stew.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
It's so good. It is so good. I know it don't look that great, but it's amazing. It's tasty. It is.
So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring out some donuts.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna bring out some cowboy stew, and they gotta eat it.
They're not gonna eat it. But where you gonna get cowboy stew from in LA?
I'll pay somebody to make it.
Don't. They can't. It ain't gonna be right. That's just like asking somebody out here to make gumbo. Like that's just.
They be trying to make it. You can't get what you need though.
That's
to
the
make
problem.
Gumbo. Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. No, because my Aunt Jeannie make the best gumbo.
No, she doesn't.
I know you're gonna say your mom make the best gumbo.
Where's she from?
So my Aunt Jeannie grew up in Dayton, Texas, but from New Iberia, Louisiana. That's
She grew up in Dayton, Texas. How long was she in Texas?
I don't know how. 60 years, maybe. I don't know how old my Aunt Jeannie is.
Okay, so she doesn't make good gumbo.
I need to learn how to.
She makes okay gumbo.
No, she makes good gumbo.
It's all right.
But
you don't even know what good gumbo is though, because you're from Texas.
No,
you know what decent gumbo is.
My mom's people and my Aunt Jeannie's my mom's people. They're from New Iberia.
Okay, so the people that were there in New Iberia, they can make a gumbo, but the people that moved, they forgot.
No, they didn't, because they learned. We're still connected to our family there.
I don't know.
The Broussards. Tell me, shout out to the Broussards.
Broussard, that's a very Louisiana name.
Slavery. So, Van, I really appreciate this conversation. I appreciate your time.
I had a lot of fun.
This was amazing.
Trill NBA podcast. I had a lot of fun. I think what you do is very amazing.
Thank you.
And I support your podcast. If there's anything else I can do to help you guys out, let me know. All right?
Okay, I have one favor.
What you want?
And it's not even for me.
Okay.
It's my homegirl, Stephanie.
Steph.
Yes. She knows that Michael B. Jordan is supposed to be her husband. I don't know how she knows. I feel like the spirits. But she's so, like, Michael B. Jordan is my husband. He's
Mike.
Yes. Can you pass a number to Michael B. Jordan for me?
So
can you? Because I saw you recently on Twitter, and some woman said I got all this ass.
for my homeboy Aldous.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna ask. I told Stephanie, I was like, I'm gonna ask Ben. I'm just gonna ask.
So here's the thing. Shout out to that lady. Her name is Intersectional Ho, I think it is.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Very funny. And very smart. Smart lady. Started following each other. So the reason why I did that is because it was funny.
Yes, it was.
Tell all this Hodge, I got all this ass, and I was like, he would get a laugh out of that.
Yeah.
So I sent it to him. But if I had, first of all, me and Mike don't know each other that well. I know him, but we don't know each other that well. But if I had a fucking penny for every time somebody was like, yo, did you know that Michael B. Jordan follows you? I was like, yeah. Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
These are people. Mike, Sterling, all of these guys, these are the guys that ladies like, you know what I mean?
Well, Sterling's married though.
Sterling is with someone, yeah.
Sterling.
Not Sterling K. Brown.
Okay.
Stilo, Mike's friend.
Oh.
Stilo, like, yeah, the guys I know. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, I can't be blowing these brothers up with everybody trying to get at them.
I don't want that. Let the spirit pray on it.
I'll pray on it.
Pray on it, Stephanie.
These are all amazing black men. These are some of the nicest guys, some of the most amazing, talented, nice, hardworking guys. All of these guys.
And see, Stephanie, she's cute, petite. She's executive at a big bank, so she makes her own money.
Her own money.
Yeah, she just.
It's independent, Neo.
Well, she wants to be interdependent.
Interdependent.
Yeah, she wants to be interdependent. She's done her work. She's healed, and she just was like, I could bring a lot to that man's life, and I think he could bring a lot to mine. We would do great things together. No, we've been trying to find a connection. So one of our other homegirls went to Stanford.
God helps those who help themselves.
With Sterling K. Brown, and so we convinced her to ask Sterling. We're just working all the angles for Stephanie. We believe in her spirit.
I hope it works out, but I don't feel like I'm gonna be a part of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I just still pray on it though.
I will.
For real, pray on it.
I hope everything works. I hope everybody gets what they want, and don't use a gift card on the first date.
If Michael B. Jordan used a gift card on this date, she would not care. She would not. She'd be like, "That's economical. I appreciate you for using that sponsor. Whatever sponsor gave you that, Michael. This is great. I support it." Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's in finance. She's amazing.
She's great.
Yeah. So that's what I would use my favor for, Stephanie.
Stephanie. I hope it works out.
You gonna pray on it.
Keep dreaming.
You're gonna pray on it though.
I fuck with Stephanie. I'm not gonna do it.
He didn't pray on it though.
I already did. Jesus knows. You know what I'm saying? He knows the past, present, future. So he knew that we would be having this conversation and that I wouldn't do it. Okay. But Stephanie don't need me. It's a strong black woman. Which bank she work at? Like a big bank?
It's huge.
It's a huge bank.
Lots of money.
Okay. See?
One of the big 5.
Damn, Stephanie.
Yeah. She
Stephanie getting it.
Yeah.
Y'all know Stephanie?
No, they don't know Stephanie.
I think you made Stephanie up. I think you're Stephanie.
No, I'm not Stephanie. No, Michael B. Jordan's too young for me. I'm 10 years older than him. No.
All right.
No, I appreciate you. Hey guys, so listen, we've had a wonderful time with Van. But we gotta let Van go. Again, as always, if you guys need any help or advice, hit me up at ask@trillandba.com /coaching to schedule your consultation with me. It's a 45-minute consultation. Yes, it does cost. Or you can email us at ask@trillandba.com. We will try to answer your question. If we can't, we will work to connect you to the right person. Because, hey, I don't have all the answers all the time, right, guys? So we will work to connect you with the right person. Again, that's trillandba.com /coaching to set up a consultation with me to help you work through your specific work situation, or ask@trillandba.com. Van, what do you have coming up that you want us to support?
I want everybody to try glazed beignets.
Glazed beignets. Where is that?
I just saw this place, and they put a glaze on their beignets. Now I've never had a glazed beignet before.
I don't even know how I feel about that.
It's called Beignet and Things, and it's on Instagram. And they put a glaze on their beignets, and they look fire. Okay.
But you're from Louisiana, the home of the beignet.
I don't be on beignets like that. So what I'm saying is,
This might
forget about what y'all could do and where I'm at. Y'all will see me. Y'all do something for yourselves. All right, forget about me. You know, my name.
We're not gonna forget about you.
Just don't worry about going to get more van content. Get stuff for yourself, and what you should get is from Beignet and Things, which is because I think they're in Houston, so it's gonna be tough. But go to the Instagram. They got a glazed beignet, and I'm obsessed. So forget about that.
Did you get this when you were in Houston?
Nah, I just seen the picture. I don't even know if it's good, but I know that I want to try it. So what I'm saying is, don't worry about me. I'll be straight.
Okay.
I'm going home to the dog right now. Kalika, we're gonna be cool. Glazed beignet yourself up. Love y'all. Trill NBA show. Omarion. We out.